So come on now, Denver train. Take me back to see my Mary Jane. Roll me back, roll me back, roll me back to see my Mary Jane.
So this week, Dion and I were talking, and we were, because we're both on our, if you read the email, I mean, you pretty much know the whole story, right? We're both on trainer track, both for the children's side and for Rocky Mountain Trainer. And so we decided that, the best way to start, we've been talking about for several weeks on the CS, setting up, we have to set up clinics, like lots of clinics, and we have to do topics. And the topics are CAP model and choose one model and the effective, and how would you best teach that to various audiences and things like that. And we decided this was a really great way to kind of start warming ourselves up again, is to start kind of creating these clinics in a way that would help both benefit you and benefit us. So at the end, I'm really gonna reach out and try to get you guys to give me some feedback, because I think that's important too. Okay, because it's gonna be a little bit different angle. All right. I gave you this is how this is gonna work tonight. So we're gonna be giving you, we're gonna start out with the statement. The statement is a biography of a skier, and then it's some distilled down ski performance statement. Okay, so we know a little bit about the skier and what their motivation is, so we can speak to that motivation. And then we also have a little snippet of exactly what we would be hearing. One of you, if we were an examiner, one of you would be saying back to us about what we're seeing in terms of skiing without the prescription part. Okay, so this is the objective description of what you're seeing in the ski. Does that make sense? Okay, and then from that, we're going to go ahead and tell you what we think the body is doing to create those ski performances. And then from that basic pattern, we're going to identify one or two movements that we want to modify in order to get a better ideal ski performance, and then tie that into one of the tasks from the IDP. Because there was a request a couple of weeks or last week about doing a clinic on how to use the tasks in the IDP. And I believe I have shared with you guys what those tasks are, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again anyway, if I can get it to come up without. Where is it at? I got too many. Here we go. So here are the tasks that are in the current IDP. Does everybody see it? No?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Nope.
Let me try this again. And it's in your email too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. All right. And this is from the current IDP. Ignore all the stuff down at the bottom, because that's actually pertains to the old ones. But this is the current task on the IDP. And it basically, depending on what level you're going for, you're responsible for accurately demonstrating each of these tasks. So for level ones, you need to be doing all of these tasks. For level two, you're going to be responsible for all of the level one tasks plus all the level two tasks. And then as a level three, all tasks that you see here from level one, level two, and level three are your responsibility. Okay?
Hey, Gumby,
Yeah.
when have these changed? Because, I did my level 2 ski last year, and we were all about Wedge Christie and Wedge. And I don't remember having to do Wedge Christie for my level 1, which was just the year before.
Yeah, they put special emphasis on on those because they're really bringing back that the center line concept.
Okay.
Okay, that's where that reappeared. It's been in there. Wedge Christies have been in the IDP, but now they're really highlighting that as a task.
For even level one, they were in there?
Level
Yes.
one are responsible for wedge Christies and wedge turns. Yes.
Okay.
Just
I
because
just
the task is there doesn't mean that they have you do every single task that's there when you go to assessment,
right.
because they're looking at your movement patterns and your ability to adapt, not how well you do any one particular maneuver.
Right. I just don't remember ever prepping for Wedge Christie my first year, and I remember last year was like living in the Wedge Christie.
Yeah. So the thing is that a level one version of the wedge Christie is not necessarily the same as a level two version, which is not necessarily the same as a level three version. Does that make sense too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to see you to be
Yes.
as close to the level three as you can, but knowing that there is a certain skill pattern that has to happen for that to be really, really accurate. The accuracy part of it is then lowered down, so they know it's going to be probably a little bit more of STEM Christie. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Marin, you have your name. You have your hand up.
Thank you. I just found that button for the first time. I have a broader question, and it might be a really stupid question.
There is no stupid
Um,
questions.
for the IDP, like I've printed it out from you every year for like the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand what it is for from a teaching point of view. Like I understand the tasks here. This looks like a ski exam prep, which is great, but I don't quite understand like how it fits into the assignment we're looking at today.
Okay, so
I'm not
you
going to
may,
ask a student to go do most of these things.
and honestly, to be honest with you, Marin, this is a heavy lift already today. Just to get you through the idea of looking at the ski performance, having to know what the ski performance and building on that to kind of figure out what the body performance is before we even get to the IDP. Because there's a lot of stages we have to go through in order to get there first. But this is what I'm going to encourage you to think about. All of these tasks, they're teaching. They're teaching specific kinds of movements. And then if you're going through your exam, I would highly encourage you to use one of these tasks in your teaching.
Mm,
Mm. And we're going to hopefully, one of the outcomes we'll get from this is that you'll have a better understanding of how that's going to work. Does that make sense?
okay. I'm looking forward to teaching a level 6 skier dynamic short radius turns.
Dynamic short radius turns, yeah. Well, just there's another caveat to all this too. Any of these tasks could be modified. So maybe you're not doing dynamic short radius turns. Maybe you're just doing a blended short radius turn. All right, so Joel, you have your hand up.
Yes, the IDP that we've received from you is Rocky Mountain. Intermountain does not have anything like this.
I know, 100%.
They
All right.
will.
This is an example.
Um,
When this year?
At the end of this season, Intermountain and Rocky Mountain will be fully merged.
Yep.
Great. Thank you.
And you'll probably see these a lot more. And by the way, at the end of this thing, if you could stick around just for a minute or two, Joel, so we can go over that email you sent me 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Mike, you've got something you want to add?
Yeah, listening to what people were talking about, and especially as pertains to the IDP and some of the tasks for the exams, as part of this unification process, which will be complete with all regions by the end of 2026. Um, for all levels, there is a sequence of events called the integrated tasks. Now, for any given level, you will not have to do all of them, but the 4 tasks on the IDP are wedge turn, wedge Christie, basic parallel, and dynamic parallel. Sometime during your level 1 exam, you will be assessed for wedge turn and wedge Christie. That's a given. it will probably happen at about the time you're going to be doing an MA. And by that I mean they may have you ski your wedge Christies, and the next day they may have you do an MA on those wedge Christies from yourself and from your peers. For level 3, you're probably going to do a wedge turn, wedge Christie, and a basic parallel for your level 2 exam. For your level 3 exam, you will probably be doing all 4. The assessors reserve the right to highlight certain elements. Now, that being said, for level 1, are you expected to do wedge Christies and wedge turns at a level 3 level? It'd be great if you did, but they're not expecting that refinement to be there. Is that fair game? So I don't hear anything. And as far as the IDP goes, all of the regions, as I understand it, are working on an IDP. And it's mostly led by Rocky Mountain. I understand ours is getting evolved again. And for Rocky Mountain and to be used by other regions, I spent the summer writing up one for Telemark. So all of the regions appear to be going towards this IDP. Now, at level 3, they expect you to do everything on the IDP. There are some elements they will be expecting you to do for level 1. For example, they still expect you to do basic parallel skiing, but they're going to look at it from an isolated task or probably from the blended task versus the integrated. So level 1, you'll still have to do basic parallel skiing, but they're not going to be evaluating it at a level 2 and a level 3 arena. However, if you are skiing your basic parallel at those levels, you're going to get some pretty bloody high scores. And so most of the IDP descriptors are presented to give you the highest score possible. That is, they're described for a level 3. If the movement patterns are there and they're mostly progressive in that, you'll pass. But recognize that they're really written with what they would like to see at the highest most level.
Cool. Rebecca, you have your hand
Well, what
raised.
do you mean by integrated?
Okay, so we have 3 different kinds of tasks. We have an integrated task. We have a, okay, we have, I've already forgot them all. There's the integrated, there is the
Isolated.
There is the
isolated,
individual, it's called individual.
individuals, yeah, individual, integrated, and then the old blended ones are what they called the old blended ones. I remember those for some
But
reason.
what's the difference between blended and integrated?
So an integrated task is more like applied.
As opposed
Applied,
to a
it's the old
blended?
applied. So you would be taking no, that's not right.
So it's
Yeah.
not called blended anymore. It's got some other frumpy name, but what it really means is your ability to take the task and vary it. You can vary the turn size, the turn
That's what
shape,
they call it. It's called
the
varied
line you're
tasks.
taking.
Yeah, it's varied tasks. That's what it's called.
Okay. The
Integrated, integrated, individual, and then the
variable or whatever. So what's important with the integrated tasks is that they are looking at the common threads across all the regions. So the common threads that they will be looking for in the integrated fundamentals are both skis will stay on the snow. The ankles work in unison, creating matching forward angles. The skis are simultaneously guided to begin the turn. A countered relationship is maintained through transition between the turns, and the legs flex and extend independently of each other to move the center of mass from turn to turn. And torso stability supports lower body mobility. Now, in the integrated tasks, they will see all of these things equally. In the fundamental tasks and in the variability tasks, those common threads may be slightly modified or will not be balanced equally through everything. For example, you may be hitting a bump and your skis might come off the snow. You may be getting rebound in short radius turns, and that rebound's going to get you off the snow. So that will not be in the integrated tasks. But if you look at what the integrated tasks are, all of those common threads need to be there. In addition, all the integrated tasks will be performed for all intent and purposes on intermediate slope, groomed, and medium radius turns. Now, there will be variation in there because if you're trying to do a medium radius turn on a ski that's 180 underfoot, your turn isn't going to be as medium radius as Chuck doing his medium radius turns on a ski that's 60 underfoot.
All right. Hey, Mike, I hate to cut you off, but
Go
we're
ahead.
getting off topic.
Well, the question was brought up, so
Yeah. So here is the integrated task. The integrated tasks are the wedge turn, wedge Christie, basic parallel, and dynamic parallel.
So Chuck, is that in this form?
This
here?
IDP, yes, it's in the IDP. It's kind of
Is
like
it
right in the
email
middle.
you just sent?
I'm sorry?
Is it
Yeah,
in?
it's in the IDP I sent you in the email.
Okay.
Okay, so we have it in the email.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always try to send that stuff to you when you guys get it.
it'll
All
be
right?
located in about the middle of the document.
Yeah, it's on page 7. And then everything before that, like side slips and skating and leapers and things like that, are all individual tasks because they highlight individual skills. And then we have the varying ones, which is basically the integrated tasks, but in bumps and steeps and powder and, places where we have to modify our movements in order to be more accurate. Okay? That's how they have it set up. And all they did was just add a bunch of syllables, what they did. So, all right. So anyway, regardless, our task tonight is that after the clinic, I want you guys to be able to accurately relate the body performance to the ski performance that's given to us for the whatever situation that the skier wants for their motivation. And then we'll be able to relate an IDP task to make a change in the body performance to allow for a more ideal ski performance. Does that make sense? That's what we're trying to do tonight. All right. And so we have our first victim, which is Emily. Okay. And I put Emily in the email. Okay. So here is Emily. Emily, 34, software engineer from Boston, Massachusetts, who is a self-taught skier, having skied since she was a kid on occasional trips, but has always struggled in steeps and trees and moguls. Her friends have tried to help her, but their coaching left her even more frustrated. So she's taking a professional lesson to rebuild confidence and learn proper technique. She is analytical by nature, motivated to keep up with her peers and her kids, who are quickly advancing thanks to us. But when she gets into moguls, she makes about 3 to 5 turns before she loses control and has to stop. And she's tired of falling. Here is a ski observation. When she skis, Emily's skis stay very close together most of the time. Her turns on groomed terrains are short, Z-shaped with very little roundness, and accelerate as she continues down the hill, never really getting grip at the end of the turn except to deflect in a new direction. Skis bend mostly in the back throughout the turn. Outside ski moves first at initiation. Edging is minimal. Both skis bend about the same. And skis quickly pivot from the tips at initiation. So with that in mind, and I'm going to encourage you guys to kind of stand up and try to feel what you're reading with Emily.
Hey, Chuck,
Yeah,
can I get a clarification?
yeah.
I might be being a little anal here, but there's something in the description that doesn't seem to fit in what I think I see in the
Cool.
skier, which is the the tails of the ski are mostly bent,
Right.
but through the whole turn.
Yeah.
But at initiation, she's pivoting from the tips. So to
Thank-
me, to pivot from the tips, your weight has to be forward. And then the skis wouldn't be bending from the tails.
I actually picked up on the same thing, Scott. I was wondering the same thing.
Me too. Thank you, Scott.
I can answer it if you want, Gumby.
Nope.
Okay, you take it back.
Not yet.
I still
Not
have
yet.
some ideas, though, if this were the actual.
Yeah. So, I mean, the information is there. I have a very particular skier. I can tell you exactly what this skier is doing because I'm the guy who wrote the words on the page, right? But it's not helping you guys to try to figure out. To tell you why that is happening. So what I want you guys to think about is what are the movements that she's trying to do to allow the skis to both bend in the back and pivot in the front.
Do you want us to answer now or in our groups?
No, go ahead and answer now. In our group, I'm going to be giving.
Can I take a crazy step? This is what I envision.
Cool.
I envision someone who's, maybe taller, long-legged or whatever, skis legs together, who's using her hips incredibly and her shoulders.
Okay,
so it's
cool.
sort of a upper body gesture to try and pivot the skis under her, and she gets thrown back like every other turn.
Yeah.
That's what I envision.
All right.
On groomed terrain, let's not get into the bumps yet, but on groomed terrain, intermediate to steeper terrain, I just see someone trying to, not the hot diggity dog completely, but
Right.
a lot of hips and shoulders is what I see with her moving and forcing the ski tips to pivot and then tails sweep out when she has more hip movement or.
Well, we're going to kind of let Dion make it maybe because this is the demonstration. I was just kind of reaching out and I'm listening to all the things you say, and I want you to ask those questions in your own mind as she starts to kind of decipher what she thinks this skier is doing. And remember, there's no right or wrong here. I'm not looking for accurate stuff. I'm looking for you building a picture in your mind of what this skier is trying to do. Okay? Dion, do you want to try it?
So, are you asking for body performance, just to be clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is she doing with her body to allow her to do all of these things?
Well,
And keep it simple.
she is upper body rotating.
Yep.
And inclinating into her turns.
Yep.
She is balanced mostly over her inside ski, which is why her outside ski doesn't really seem to grip. Cool. And she isn't able to slow down. Because of the combination of inclination and rotation, she is aft, and she probably actually extends a bit as she rotates and pushes her skis farther away from her, which when I do that and I am aft, it puts the pivot point of my ski in front of my foot. so that my tails take a wider track than my tips.
Say that again, Dion.
I see
When I am aft and I extend as I incline and rotate, it pushes the tails farther away from me than the tips, and the tails take a wider path around the turn than the tips of the skis. And it leaves me with both legs the same length.
And you can do that while your weight's on your heels.
Yes, because
Yep.
I'm pushing on the backs of my skis. I'm pushing
Right.
the tails out.
Okay. Okay. I get it. That makes
So
sense.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that my pivot point goes aft when I'm aft. My pivot point can be in front of my foot, whether I am forward or aft.
Do you see her using her hips?
Oh yes,
Oh,
Yeah, swinging
hips
those
and
hips.
shoulders.
Yeah, hips and then
Hips
shoulder.
and shoulders.
Yeah, and inclination. Yeah, I get it. All right.
Very nice. Laura, you had your hand up.
So am I remembering right? Somebody saying when the part of a ski is not weighted, that part can move faster.
Yes.
So that's what I was thinking about, is that tip can move faster because there's no weight on it.
Yeah, but because of the way that she is positioned, her ability to move the tip is limited. And she has to extend in order to get a weight transfer from one side, or to move the skis from one side to the other. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
quite sure what
really,
we mean, but what do we mean by extend?
she has to
So
extend her
she's
legs.
standing up.
Yeah, she has to extend her legs.
She has to extend her legs. Okay.
Her ankles, knees, and hips. Yes.
Okay.
Tom, you had your hand up.
Yeah, your description that the outside ski moves first at initiation, does that tell you that there's more pressure on the inside ski?
Not necessarily, but that is something that you could be thinking about. Yes. Yes. Because there's a statement in there. Skis bend mostly in the back. Both skis bend about the same, which means one ski does not really bend appreciably more than the other.
So why does one ski move first at initiation?
Well, because it's upper body rotation.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I
And
rotate, the
I haven't
outside
heard
of my
anybody say
body
anything about
rotates
the
first.
legs, the flex and extension of the legs. Because her skis are bending about the same, she's probably doesn't have much independent flex and extend with her inside and outside ski. They're probably pretty similar.
Yes. And we've all seen this skier, right? Is this everybody suddenly kind of drawing a picture of what they look like? I tried to pick something that was like something that we've seen before. Maybe it's not as common now, but we still see them every once in a while. This is the perfect description of a dig me steer. Little counter rotation. You nailed it. There's a hip move. The hips always move first in that counter rotation, which makes that outside ski turn just a little bit faster than the inside, right? They're always riding their tails. They're usually got the hands like this, and they look cool, right? Or they think they look cool. So this is a perfect description of what that skier looks like, okay, in terms of just the ski performance. Now, if we took this skier with all of these ingredients, and now that we have married it to a body performance, now you have a good understanding of why she is not going to be very successful in the bumps. And one of the things I didn't put in here was that she was probably very terrified of deep powder too, because of the way that she turns her skis. She pushes the tails instead of guiding the tips. Questions?
So she's fairly stagnant or stiff through the legs without a lot of flexing or movement throughout any part of the turn. So she is going to get pushed and bumped. bumped and thrown back, or yeah, especially when in bumps. That's what I
Yeah.
envision.
Pushing your tails around in a bumps
Yeah.
is a recipe for disaster. Yes. You don't have time, right? Any other questions? All right, so now we're going to pick a task because we have identified, oh no, I'm jumping ahead. What would be the prescription for change? And Dion, you get to do that.
So I'm going to focus on the prescription from change in terms of ski performance
Sure.
rather than in terms of body performance.
Go.
And I'm going to focus on the change that I think would make bumps more successful for her.
Cool.
So the thing I think that would really help her in the bumps is to have her skis underneath her body. That's the change in body performance I would like to have. And in order to do that, I would like the outside ski to develop some grip and some pressure over it so that she is aligned to the pressure that is going to come from her outside ski. Does that make sense to people?
Yeah.
So for the level 3s, I'm talking both edging and ski to ski pressure. For the level 2s, I'm talking one or the other to start with.
How
And
do you,
I'm not going to talk about the body performance yet, because now we get to do the fun part. And we get to go look at the list of tasks that Gumby put on the screen. What is one of those tasks in any of the levels that would help with either ski to ski pressure or edging?
Outside ski turns.
Okay, Scott,
Why did I
why?
not know that was coming?
You didn't know
Why,
that was
Scott?
coming from me.
I meant to actually say you can't use that one.
No, but you have to explain what in an outside ski turn that's done correctly helps both of those performances.
Actually, in your case, Scott, not only can you've already named a task,
Yeah.
because you're a level 3, you have to modify the task.
Let's let him tie it to the 2 skills first, and then he has to
We'll
modify.
do that, but
Yeah, because then you
we're
get me
gonna
hung up
roll-
on figuring out how I'm going to modify it.
Yeah,
Well,
we're going to roll back around to you, but she hasn't gone through the body piece yet. That's why this task is going to help with that new body thing. Cool?
so the way it's going to help is when you're doing an outside ski turn, your weight is directed to the outside ski and your inside ski is light.
Right.
Because you're picking up your inside ski and your weight has to be centered over that inside edge of the outside ski.
Okay.
So that's going to help with both edging, because now I've got more pressure on my inside edge of my outside ski, and I have it on my outside ski instead of my outside edge of my inside ski. So that's how it's going to help with edging. And just because I'm directing pressure to that ski, now my outside ski has more weight than my inside ski. So it's going to have more pressure.
I'm going to ask you to go a little deeper on the edging aspect of it. How do I edge my ski in an outside ski turn?
So I edge my skis by tipping them. And I want to tip them starting with my ankle and knee at initiation. And as I move through the turn, I move from a more inclined position to a more angulated position where I've got some, basically my upper body is bent towards the outside of the turn and my legs are bent towards the inside of the turn. So that's going to align me over the ski. And I'm not sure. I'm getting lost. I can't, I don't really think of anything else I can say to that.
Okay, so
Did a good job of
from our, I'm going to help you with the modify part.
Okay.
If we had this lovely skier and she tried to do outside ski turns, how do you think she would try and put them on edge, given her current movement pattern?
She's going to try and put them on edge by inclining. In other words, tipping tipping her whole body to the inside of the turn. And instead of creating angles between her.
So
Yep.
that's perfect. That's probably exactly what she would do. And she'd probably end up putting her inside foot back on the ground because otherwise
Right.
she'd fall over.
Right.
So anticipating that, what is something you could do to that outside ski turn that it would make it less likely for her to incline to try and put her skis on edge?
Or in other words, push the ski out.
Add a pole
So
drag.
let me,
Yeah,
what's that?
that's awesome.
Add a
Kelby, say
pole
it
drag.
again.
Add a pole drag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Outside pole drag.
Okay. Anybody else got a way to do it to make it so that you are more likely to edge with your lower leg and stay balanced over your outside ski for your ski to ski pressure? What else can you do?
What about using something we talked about last week, which is that power wedge, where you've got to keep your hips between your skis and you're shifting your weight from your, if I'm making a right turn, I've got to have my hips between my skis at all times, but have my weight on that inside edge of my outside ski. As it comes around, I shift weight to my other ski.
So that's a modified wedge turn, and that's
Right.
great. That's how I would modify a wedge turn, maybe. How else can I modify an outside ski turn?
So now I'm going to like javelin turns and things like that, but that's a different term.
Is
Not
a
saying that they
stork
would-
turn
Yeah.
a javelin turn? A stork turn is an outside ski turn, but I let my tip touch, which
Oh,
is
right,
actually in the definition of a level 2 one.
right. So
There's
that would be a good
also,
modification if she's not at a level 3, have her do a level 2.
yeah.
You already know that she's going to be struggling with that, right?
Right,
That's going to be a really tough task for her to do
right.
So
because she's so far back already.
Well, and you can start by just tapping it, right? The thumper turn,
yeah,
Thumpers.
and then go to a
there you
stork
go.
turn, and then go to a full outside ski turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So right there, you've got 2 modifications, and then you can add the pole drag.
Right,
And then say instead she's actually super athletic and she catches on like that, and she can do that outside ski turn. But we still tend to rotate a little bit and come away from our outside ski and push that tail out. Okay. And even with the pole drag, wasn't quite working. What if I skated into an outside ski turn?
yeah.
Because that helps me get even more aligned. What if I, at the finish of each turn, I did a little hop?
Anything that gets the feet moving will get you balanced on the outside ski. So
Yeah.
shuffling and stepping are 2 good things to get you on the outside.
There's a million of them right there. I mean, I like,
So yeah,
honestly,
you could do outside ski turns with 3 little steps or 4 little steps as you came across the hill and then into an outside ski turn. You could do outside ski turns where you skate into it. You could do outside ski turns with a pole drag. You could do outside ski turns with your hands on your hips so
Could
that
try
you
no
can
poles.
feel whether you're tipping her out. You could try no poles. You could try both poles, holding them parallel to the hill. All of those are modifications. And it's aimed at changing the ski performance. Because what do I really want to happen?
I want her more balanced on her outside ski.
Why?
So that
That's her
she can have
body.
better control of her turn for variable conditions, for different speeds, for
Okay, bring it back. In her movement analysis, when we talked about her ski performance, what ski performance are we actually changing? We want to change what?
She said it at the
it's a
very
pressure,
beginning.
change of pressure
Why?
to give her more control.
No, so that the skis will grip
Oh.
from the top and around the arc so that they don't just grip enough at the bottom to shoot you sideways, because that's what her turns do now.
So they grip progressively to spread the
And
pressure throughout the turn.
Right.
yes, so I'm looking at an edging performance and a ski to ski pressure performance, but it's aimed at the ski performance we originally had, not at some nebulous idea about having more control or feeling more balanced. No, it's at an measurable outcome that you could take a video of.
Yes. We're trying to change performance, right?
Can you elaborate
And
on the stork turn?
It's just it's a one leg, it's you standing on the outside foot, but you have
Oh,
the
okay.
inside leg or the inside ski tip has to remain on the snow.
Okay, thank you.
So it's like, it forces you to be,
Yeah.
but one of the goals, remember, this is the goal that Dion said was, I need to have her more feet underneath her seat, those that she can get more grip. Okay, that's going to be the big picture performance change. And
That's the outcome we're looking
And
for.
honestly, I like going with the power wedge. I like the power wedge, right? Because it gives her stability with that same feeling as standing on that outside foot, because you have to rotate, which is not something that she does now. She probably counter rotates, right?
or upper
Bunny
body
hops.
rotates.
Bunny hops that's a modification to the leapers, right? Having her like extend off the snow so she has to just do bunny hops through the turn so she can get the feeling of being balanced where the feet are underneath her seat. There's a million things you could do. You could modify any of the slips too, right? That's another way to help her with that idea of getting her feet underneath her seat so she can modify grip. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
so does anybody else in the group have one of the tasks that you think could help her?
Crab walks.
1,000
Why?
steps.
Yes, that's
And-
awesome, guys. Why?
Because, well, in a crab walk, you are literally forced to place the ski on edge, displace that ski out on edge to get
Beautiful.
ski to snow interaction, that grip, and then you have to move the center of mass back over and under your foot, which will help her get balanced over that outside ski. And if you do it traversing across on really flat terrain, she will be forced to balance on that outside ski and get that edge to grip.
Yeah, brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. Yeah, 100%.
So I
Who
have a
said?
question about that. I'm not disagreeing with it, but I'm visualizing doing crab walks. And when I do a crab walk, I put that ski out to the side. I have no pressure on it to start. And then when I first start to transfer pressure, I still have more pressure on the one that's underneath me, but I'm increasing it on the other one. So I'm not really, through the whole turn, I'm not really putting more pressure on the outside ski. I'm still heavy on the inside.
But if you're doing it across the hill, traversing across the hill on flat terrain, because of the angle of the pitch, you will be forced to balance over the outside ski. It's a
So do it
modification.
across the hill, not straight down the hill.
Yeah.
So that's a variation on the crab walk.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Shelby,
Thanks.
as you do the traversing crab walks, are those just half a crab walk, or are you doing both sides?
I would do the outside ski only.
Yeah, that would make sense. All right, cool. Do you guys get the idea of how this works now?
So
This makes
somebody
sense to
said
everybody?
1,000 steps.
I
Who
did.
said
I did.
why 1,000 steps?
Well, a couple of reasons. It will help with her fore and aft, and it will help with her edging, and it will help with her independent leg action. Well, a few things.
Yeah. All right, so
I'd work her up to it though. Like it sounds like I like the crab walk idea really, Kelby, when you explained it across the hill. You know, if she's used to being sort of centered in the over her inside leg, that might be something she might pick up on. 1,000 steps would be challenging because she's not used to using her legs independently, but on, you know, beginner terrain, getting her to move across the hill and thought like a nice wide, you know, piece, she could probably get the feel of independent leg action. Also, how her edges angle and how she can separate her legs from each other so they're not, skis aren't touching. But also it will help with her fore and aft. It'll keep her moving forward so she could be balanced over her boots. So I think like playing around with as many of these, the three that came out to me as I was thinking, all right, skating, 1,000 steps, outside ski turns. Those are the first three that popped out. But I like the idea of adding the crab walk if she's able to balance on one leg and not hurt herself as she's trying to do the crab walk.
What I like about the crab walk idea is it also, because we talked briefly about managing her edging skills to change her edging performance. If her understanding of how to use the ski and the ski design is not there, crab walks is a great way to learn that if I put my ski on edge, it turns and it'll come back to me. So I don't have to push on it. So it addresses her extension and push on the ski to make it turn, and an understanding issue where, oh, you mean if my ski's on edge, it turns. So it starts to change more than one part. Instead of just learning a movement, we're starting to change an understanding.
all right. You guys got the idea? Because we got to move on. We're already like 15 to 20 minutes late. I've got 4 rooms set up. I'm going to come through and I'm going to drop in a description for each room. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to spend about 10 minutes discussing among yourselves of what you think that skier is doing and what you think the issues are, what you think the body performance is, what you think you need to modify. And then if you can come up with a task, that'd be great. I don't think that's necessarily as important as really having a good idea of what you think that body performance is doing now and how you'd like it to be better later. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, go to your rooms. Pressure on the outside ski than the inside ski.
Okay.
This is classic banking.
Yes.
Classic banking.
Okay.
Okay. Upper body rotation. He's hanging on to the old ski too long, right? This is why the new inside ski has more pressure than the new outside ski at the initiation, which is
Right.
what, and then he uses upper body rotation to help him spin, but because he spins, he banks.
Okay, so it is, so I wasn't wrong to talk about upper body rotation, but it's
You picked that
also
up.
this banking. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, and that's why the edge is, let's see, did I put that in? Highest edge is at finish.
At the finish.
Yeah, it has to be because he's banking most of the time. He can't get any higher edge angle until he actually starts to build angles.
Okay.
Okay.
So this for like what skills we could do for the IDP. Like I'm thinking, okay, this guy could use some long leg, short leg, something, but I don't know what drill that would be.
Well, let's bring it up.
What about stepping? I think stepping might be good.
Stepping, shuffling. I
Yeah.
would,
thousand steps, hockey stop.
Yeah.
Because this person also has no counter. This person is probably
Right.
moving the body as one unit and doesn't know how to separate upper and lower body. I would probably look for a straight run to a hockey stop.
Yep. Yeah, hockey stops are good for everything. Okay, so he's going to step, shuffle, and hockey stop, and he's
so
going to be
he's a level
perfect.
2 candidate. What else could you do that's higher level?
These are the tasks he's going to be already performing: hockey stops, basic parallels. But from the description that you're reading, he is not going to be very successful at one or more of these, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to pass his level 2 at this level. I wonder if railroad track turns would help him so he could start to learn to edge from his ankles instead of edging just from banking.
There you go. Because he wouldn't be inclining anymore. He'd be doing what?
He'd be tipping from his ankles.
Right.
And his knees.
How about double pole drags? How about outside? How about opposite pole plants?
What's an opposite pole plant?
What do you mean by that, AJ? Opposite pole plant?
So try this. Try this, Alana.
Uh-huh.
Instead of planting, so how do we plant our poles? We plant our down. Let's think of it in simple terms. We're traversing across the hill. We want to turn down. We're running out of real estate. We plant down the hill, right? Try it this way. Plant your uphill. It's weird. It's really weird.
Yes.
But if you're at the Eastern Academy with me, let's do some.
I'm going to be, and also the Mini Academy too.
Do some outside opposite pole plants and watch what happens. And how, more importantly, how you have to be successful with an opposite pole plant. I'll leave that to ruminate.
Well, I'll let you know next week because I'm going to go to Big Snow.
Okay.
What's big snow?
It's indoor skiing in New Jersey.
Oh, fun. Oh, that sounds really fun because I've completely forgotten how to ski. So when he says outside pole plants, I'm like, well, what's a pole plant? Like, what are skis? Maybe I need to go to my basement and look at
Not outside, opposite.
Opposite, yeah.
Just think of it this way, Laura. You've forgotten all your bad habits.
Oh, I need to be like my son. Half the time I find him walking around in the basement on his skis.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
He's in
So
love.
yeah, I mean, so pick a task that you think is going to work. Right? You're on a beautiful track. I love the prescription of change, which is we need to do what? What is that prescription of change? It can't be, well, we don't want him to do this anymore. You want him to do something instead. And preferably
We want him to have lower and upper body separation, which was Alona said.
Right.
And then we're thinking we want him to be edging with his feet, not his whole banking.
Yep. And independent legs, right?
And
we need to build some independent legs. That's what the hopping and the stepping and all that stuff
and
is
the stepping is for that.
Right. Because he is, I mean, the description's pretty definitive. He's already stepping into the next turn. So he's already got that part down. We just got to make him more aware of it. Or we also may want to think about releasing the edges too. So he's really good at building an edge, but he has not figured out how to release an edge.
Pivots.
Well, I was going to ask, because when he says at the top, the outside ski tips quickly before the inside ski, they quickly match. He means he's getting a little wedge at every initiation, right?
Yeah. He's
he
building
ain't going
a
to pass
wedge.
his level 2.
He's building a wedge at initiation, but he's more skilled at it than most, right?
Right.
So this one was purposely worded in a way that you would be recognizing that there is probably a rotary push-off that's happening at the end of the turn because he overloads the ski. That the new inside ski has more weight than the new outside ski. And that's what he's using to push off to rotate. What we
Wait,
want
I'm
him
sorry.
to
He's
do,
push. He's
what we want
pushing
him
off.
to do is we want the skis to go this way.
Right.
Okay. Shortening, releasing, all of those things are big deals. So, but I think you're on. Why is railroad tracks going to be effective for him?
Well, he's
You
gonna.
already said it.
If he does it, but also I think what you were just talking about, the fact that he's not doing things simultaneously, he's edging sequentially.
Yeah.
I think the railroad tracks will also help with this simultaneous edging.
Perfect. Let's go
Okay.
with that. All right. Is there any way that you would modify the task? I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know that it's time to reconvene.
I'm going to have to drop because it's after 9 here.
I appreciate it. Thank you, DJ.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for steering them and making them look at other things too.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, they're going to hate me.
How, Ilana, how would we modify? What would be a modification?
A modification using what task? The railroad track?
Well, I was
particularly?
thinking about hockey stops. Maybe instead of even worrying about, like where maybe this would be a good one to have his poles in front, and he has to really keep them in the right in front of him when he does his stop, instead of planting them. I
But
don't
you
know
mean
if that would help.
holding them so that he has a pivot point?
Yeah, let's stick to one task.
Okay.
We're not building a progression. We're just sticking to one task.
Okay,
Keep
but you
it
wanted us
simple.
to modify the task.
I'm just asking if you could modify that, what would you do? Maybe that's enough, right? Because he doesn't really use his ankles from the description, right? He doesn't know how to release, which is one very important component of railroad tracks, is not to build the edge, but to learn to do this. Moving from side to side and releasing both skis at the same time.
We're back.
Was that fun?
I heard of that, Joanne.
Well, I got cut off, so I couldn't tell the whole thing, but I'll share it with you when we're on snow. It works even with those just beginning to get into their parallel. It works pretty well.
All right, cool. So we're running out of time. I just want each group to go ahead and spend about 2 to 3 minutes explaining the skier. I'm going to put up the each of them so that we have an understanding of what we're actually looking at. My group did really well of identifying our parts and pieces that were responsible, and then they came up with a really nice IDP task, I think, would work really well on fixing, if there's not a better word. All right? Oops. All right, so why don't you guys, who wants to speak? Is that going to be Laura? Do you want to do the description, and Alona, you want to do the task? Did they bail on me? Oh, there she is. Can everybody hear me? Nod up and down if you yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot to take myself off mute. Okay, so what we saw with Greg Nelson is everything is that his weight is on the inside ski. When he turns at the top, his outside ski tips, he actually forms a little wedge at the top of his turn. So what we're seeing is there's a lot of upper body rotation, and that's why he makes a turn, and then he just sticks with that turn. There's no more actual turning of the skis. And then we think he's inclining a lot, and that's why there's so much weight on the inside ski, and why he can't really get a lot of edge until the finish. So and then he's not edging simultaneously at the top of the turn. He flat out says he's edging sequentially. He gets on the outside edge, and then this one is still flat or on its inside edge. So that's what we saw. And now Alona is going to improve him.
So the tasks that we felt would be appropriate for him would be to encourage a simultaneous edge and release. So we feel that railroad tracks would be ideal for this person. And it will also allow Greg to use his ankles for his turning motion, which he's not doing at this time. So that is our task, to fix him and fix that particular situation.
Okay, so quickly, I'm going to challenge you a little bit, Alona. From the description, why is he struggling to use his ankles and knees to create the edging?
Okay, so that stems from his body position being inclined and being essentially banking and inclined toward the hill itself. So as a result of that, he's not getting control and pressure on his outside ski. He's generally on the inside ski for the most part. And then he's exerting pressure almost as a brake on the outside ski when he finishes the turn because he has to. So he inclines to the other side and he's digging the edges in, not in a turn shape, as he states, but he's using it as a brake. So we want to get him to move his ankles, and we want to encourage a simultaneous edge and release, which is what he's not doing at this time.
Cool. And one from a posture standpoint, what would be another result that you would get from railroad tracks? What does he got to do in order to make a successful railroad track? That doesn't necessarily mean angulating with the ankles and knees. You got where I'm going?
I do. So,
okay, cool.
So in this situation, the skier cannot be successful at making a railroad track if he continues to bank or incline his body into the hill. What he needs to do is have his body over the feet itself, have the feet underneath him, and to be able to have a flexion and an extension of his legs and the ankles. He also needs to have some separation, some counter, which he's not having at this time.
Cool. Kate, you had a question?
I have a way to maybe help isolate those movements that you're looking for.
Cool.
You're going to do this anyway on something very flat like a cat track. How about have him try to do very wide track railroad tracks, like cowboy turns, like he's sitting on a horse. Like his legs are really wide. Because then you're going to end up flexing, because you have to, in order to start to tip the skis. It's going to start to separate movements in the lower body from movements in the upper body.
Beautiful. So that'd be a nice modification, right? Or maybe railroad tracks into medium radius turns. That'd be another modification.
But you can build on these things.
You could build on these things, right? Yeah. So what I was trying to get you to say was we need him to be more flex, because when he does do the extension at the top of the turn and the twist, that usually means he has lost all his flex. And in order to do a successful railroad track, I need to be more flex positioned so that I can make my knees, ankles, and hips. I have more access to those joints. Yes? Hey, that was a good first start. That was a great first start. All right. Who had Jake? Corporate
Our
insurance
group
professional
did.
from Omaha.
Dion's group did.
All right. Go.
So what do you want, the description of what we saw, or?
I want a body performance.
Okay.
That matches the ski performance. And then maybe a more ideal, and I don't care whether it's ski or body performance on the ideal or both.
I care.
Well, I know you do, but we're taking baby steps today.
So just an overview of Jake is
I'm going to be more
like
forgiving.
he likes to ski fast. His skis sometimes have a mind of their own, and he frequently has to turn sideways to slow down, and he wants to turn better. The ski performance is that we see is both skis bend primarily from the back. Turns are very Z-shaped, and both skis twist quickly, then stop turning. And both skis tip and untip very quickly as they change direction. And his highest edge angle and most ski bend is at the very end of the turn.
Cool.
So the body performance that we think is what's causing that is he's got a lot of shoulder upper body rotation. And because the skis are turning very quickly and then stopping, he's basically doing all his turning from that upper body rotation, and then the skis are turning. And because his weight is back, he probably has fairly open ankles and very bent knees, which is keeping him aft.
Cool.
So the ski performance that we'd like to see is we'd like to see the skis turn much more, be steered much more slowly, starting at the top of the turn and continuing to turn fairly uniform at a constant rate through the finish, rather than having the quick start and stop where they turn quickly and then they stop turning. We want to smooth that out. And we'd like to see the skis, rather than bending from the back, we'd like to see them bend from the center. And the reason we need to see that happen, how it's going to help him, is he's going to be more centered on his skis. So biomechanically, he can better make the motions of turning the skis and edging the skis when he's in a better position.
Cool. What task are we going to use?
Well, we talked about a lot of different tasks. We started with kind of what we did earlier, which was the outside ski turn. And we came up with some other ideas as well. We talked about possibly using a kind of a progression of uphill arcs to J turns to basic parallel. We also talked about possibly using kind of hockey stops going sideways and then hockey stopping. And we think what he's going to start to do there is he's probably hockey stopping now because that's how he's turning, but he's on his inside ski. So we want to work with him to do that with his outside ski, where more weight's on the outside ski.
So there's a gun to your head. Which task do you think will be, in your opinion, other than outside ski turns, would be your one go-to for this one?
I think because of the way he's turning and he's throwing his skis sideways, I think working off the hockey stop might be a real good way to go, because he's kind of doing that. He's just doing it wrong. And then we can progressively get him over his outside ski. I think would be a good place to start.
Okay, cool. Anybody got anything they want to ask Scott on this one?
Scott, would you have to modify the hockey stop? How would you modify it to get him onto his outside ski?
So if I'm explaining this to him, I just have him do a few first so he gets the feel of it. And then I'd say, let's try and maybe try to do this and keep your uphill ski light. Just keep your uphill ski light as you do it, and see if we can get our balance more on that downhill ski.
If that doesn't work,
we
what
talked
would you
about
do?
some other things too. I don't really. Yeah.
So there's only one thing that I'm going to pick on you about.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to stay in the center of our skis all the time? This is the Jim Shaw question.
Well, again, we're trying to get
So
him to move
is
from
that
the back.
is that a
The answer is
relative
no.
term or is that the ideal?
We're not going to be in the center of our skis all the time.
Right.
There's going to be times when we're slightly forward and times when they're slightly aft at different positions in the turn.
So the Jim Shaw answer is I'd really like him to use more of the ski that he purchased. The tips
Well,
and
that
the
is the
tails.
sarcastic, yes.
Yeah.
However, it also depends on what kind of slope he's on, because if we do this on green terrain, it probably to him will feel like he stays in the middle
Yes.
because he isn't going to use very much of the tip, and we would like him to use significantly less of the tail.
Yeah.
So if he could, even if ideally he's not going to stay in the center, the range of motion on green terrain for the fore aft on the ski is just to either side, just under the foot. And then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger. The steeper the terrain and the faster I go, the more that range of motion increases from my balance moving from the front of the ski to the back. But I don't need to move, he doesn't need to move far forward. Well, for him, it will feel far forward because he's so aft, but he doesn't need to move to the front of the ski if he's on green or if he's going across the hill.
Yeah.
He needs to stay in the middle.
I'm not going to discourage you as saying he needs to be more in the center. I would say something along the lines of I'd like to use a little bit more of the ski than the back. Okay? Because we're not really ever in the center. So just introduce that idea of we direct full pressure along the length of the ski. Okay? Cool?
Yep.
Any other modifications? I think that was a question. One more modification you might do. Lift up the inside ski, maybe start to go from hockey's turns to shaped hockey stops.
How about going hockey stop into hockey slide?
Right.
Right.
I mean, there's lots of ways we can tackle this one, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be a full hockey stop all the time. Hockey stop into a javelin.
Carved uphill arcs.
He might not be able to do that, right?
Create a white room and then ski through it.
There's a fun thing to do with kids.
All right. Kendall. Who's got Kendall?
You could always move his bindings forward about a boot length and a half, and this way you'd use the whole ski.
Just turn the skis around. Just, buckle in from the back. All right. Who had Kendall?
Kendall was my room.
Oh,
but I'm not talking.
Obviously.
Go for it, Kelby or Joel.
Can't rely on Kelby for everything.
Kelby, yeah.
Yeah, we had a Kendall as a person who's having trouble controlling herself in the moguls, and she's and ending up feeling like she's jumping from one side to the other, and she's indicated, or ski performance has indicated there's kind of a 1-2 motion to her skis throughout transition, and the outside ski is converging at initiation. So there seems to be some kind of a wedge or push off there with the outside ski. Yeah.
And then slowly
the outside ski then diverges.
So the final task or activity that we came up with, because she's motivated to ski in bumps, is we talked about
let's get the body performance first.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Keep going, Joel.
Well, we identified there's probably a lot of upper body rotation.
Yeah, it seems to be the theme of the night, right?
Yeah. And then probably a pressure with pressure fore aft being aft.
Mhm. So why do you think there's a 1-2 motion at the initiation?
She's trying to get the skis to turn.
And,
He said it.
right? I mean, she's trying to get the skis to turn, and what else is she trying to get the skis to do?
How is she trying to get the skis to turn? What turning mechanism is she using?
She's using upper body rotation.
Mm-hmm. And what else is she getting? What is she getting as a reward for using that? A upper body rotation and a 1-2 motion.
She's being thrown inside. She's getting to that more pressure on the inside ski.
She does briefly, right?
Yeah.
But why, I mean, think about it. I'm going from here, I'm here, and I want to do a 1-2 motion, right? And I'm stepping from one side to the other. What am I getting out of that?
The inside ski is catching up with the outside ski, and she's trying to stay in balance by bringing the skis so it goes. She ends up going across the hill, and the body follows.
Right, she's going across hill, but she's getting a reward. She's getting something out of stepping, right? She's stepping from one set of edges to the other set of edges. So not only is she rotating this out, but she's also getting edging.
Right, she's
That's
stepping.
going to help her.
Gives her
Right.
edging. Okay.
And you kind of alluded as to why that is happening without actually saying it. You said that she's probably in the back and she's having difficulty turning the ski. She's probably having a lot of difficulty edging the ski. All right.
Well, she gets an edge. It's just
She gets
hard.
an edge. Right. She gets an edge.
And sorry to your answer, Gumby, the reward she gets is she gets a nice solid edge if she steps that ski out there.
She's
She can
desperate
stand
for
on
an
it.
edge. She's
It's
desperate
like, oh yeah,
for an
that
edge.
feels good.
Yeah. She wants that platform in a bad way. Right. Cool. Which probably also alludes to the fact that she's probably very upright. You know, she doesn't have the, if you're low, you get to be able to, you get a little bit of this going on, but when you're really high, it's like, I got to do it this way. I got to, okay.
Can I ask, because
Yeah.
I envisioned her, in order to catch up when she steps in, bending at the waist.
Could be.
Try and stay forward.
Could
So
be.
this
It
like
doesn't
trying
really
to lift up and then step, because you have to create space, and then she kind of.
Yeah, I mean that could be very well what she's doing, right? If that's how you're viewing it, I'm not going to discourage that, right? I'm trying to think of how I would say that in a ski performance way, right?
I don't think you can, Gumby.
I don't
That's
think you
just
can. Bending from the back is bending from the back. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I can crack at the waist and still be aft.
We got kids that do it all the time like this, right? I'm bent at
Just
the waist.
open my ankles, push
I'm
backwards,
forward.
keep my knees straight,
Right.
and then crack at the waist so I don't fall over backwards.
Right. I got the ballet toes, right? They're all forward. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to that's the key feature. So, you have a task. What was your task? Kelby, you had a task.
Well, we all came up with it together.
Cool.
We talked about going into some mellow bumps. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe before we go into the mellow bumps, just do this on maybe like a blue pitch. But starting with a side slip, and then whenever the skier is ready, going from that side slip into a guided uphill arc. And the skier can determine.
Hold on, I'm in class.
If the side slip goes straight down the fall line, or if the side slip goes at an angle and then arcs. So it's discovering that different turn shape and variable terrain while still rotating his skis together and getting on that outside ski.
Cool. Cool. So that's going to give her what?
The ability to balance on the outside ski. The edges are going to be gripped in the snow to be balanced.
Cool. Paint me a picture real quick of what's that going to look like, body performance wise.
Body performance, the center of mass is going to be.
You're speaking to her. You wouldn't say center of
Okay.
mass, right?
Speaking, yeah. Her feet are going to be underneath her.
Right.
Her legs are going to be rotating.
Mm-hmm.
Her upper body is going to be facing down the hill for the most part.
There's going to be it's going to be turning less than the lower body, right? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to be more in a flex position, so she has more access to what?
The ability to flex and extend the legs independently and rotate the legs.
Rotate the legs and edging too, right? She's going to get all of those things. Right, cool. How would you modify the task? Well, you kind of had like a bunch of modifications. You kind of went through a whole progression. But is there any other kind of modifications you might add in there?
Possibly on the side slips, you could modify those into linked pivot slips.
Linked pivot slips, yeah. Yeah. Linked side slips, linked pivot slips, falling leaf, right? Maybe we can add a pole plan in there somewhere because she is
Gumby.
pole plans are effective. Yeah.
If I modify it to falling leaf, what does that change in either her ski performance or her body performance?
Is that a question for me? That's a
Question for the group.
Yeah. How does that change?
With the falling leaf, there's more fore and aft adjustment.
How? What way? Body performance.
Body performance,
Yeah.
moving towards the front of farther towards the tip of the ski, as the ski is, I guess, on the forward track of the leaf, and
What
then
joints?
aft is the back.
Yeah, we're really
It's
asking.
ankles and knees.
Joints.
There we
Ankles
go.
and knees.
Ankles and knees. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what we're really looking for. Cool. That was good. That was good. This is working out way better than I thought it would. All right, we got one more. Sarah, level 2 candidate from Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
We didn't get completely finished. We got to the point where we were identifying what we wanted the skier and skis to do and come up with some IDP tasks.
Okay. So
I'm much better at asking questions versus talking.
you're going to have to let go of your inner Donnie.
I'm letting other people talk.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. All right. Who wants to tackle this one? Give me something.
Okay, I'll start out here, and I'm not speaking for the group, but this is what I got from the group, and what we surmised and visualized here is that this level 2 skier really got the lesson well that she had to direct pressure to the outside ski, so much so that she continues directing pressure to the outside ski even when it's the new inside ski. As a result, that new outside ski is not engaged until about the shaping phase. And that carries then, more energy and pressure down into the finish. And she says, I think she's saying something about pushing and so forth in the finish phase.
Okay.
It noted their skis are flat in the initiation phase. So I don't know, group, correct me if I'm on the wrong track here, but what I would have her do is outside ski turns, but they'd be level 3, where she actually picks up the new inside ski in the finish prior to the transition so that she has no choice but to be on the new outside ski as she gets into the initiation phase.
Cool. Let me ask you a quick question.
I was going to suggest leapers because her problem is early edge change. And I thought that leapers or trying to attempt leapers would put her into the new edge very early.
So this skier is clearly, and when you're painting this picture in your mind, you got all these statements. Is this a little bit more advanced, or is this a little bit more of the middle of the road? The first three were kind of like guess that we would see.
Well, she's a level 2 candidate, so she's
Yeah.
more advanced and
She's more advanced, right?
capable of understanding some of the tasks.
So when you see when you see skis flatten quickly at initiation, what's causing that?
An extension, an upward extension.
She's extending really quickly. She just has better control than most because she twists slowly and edges instead of twisting quickly and edging, right? She has a little bit more control of that. But the high edge, she's getting a higher edge angle. She's getting it closer to the apex. But it's than all of our other skiers. So she is getting some flexion, but it's happening later. But there's a big extension at the top.
And that came up because there's a statement she made, Chuck, that says she was told she needs to start her turn by pushing at the finish. Typical assessor statement. What the hell does that mean?
You know where that came from, Mike?
Because she wound up on her heels at the finish of the turn at the time she's pushing, she's kind of back, and all she can really do is flatten the skis quickly and pivot.
Yeah. So now you understand why my frustration is your frustration.
Yeah, that would have been
Stop
a
pushing
question
at the
to
end of
ask
the turn.
her.
Well, what the hell does that mean, right?
Yep.
And so this is about. I mean, this one's a lot more about dirt. You know, there's a timing issue that's happening here, right? What would we like to see her do instead?
We'd like to see her start her new turn in essence, start moving towards that in the finish instead of waiting until she's in the initiation phase.
Okay, that's a better description than stop pushing.
Yep. And someone else had brought up, let's see if we can get them to start moving their center of mass diagonally down the hill, but we didn't get into how that would occur.
Well, I mean, now you got a task, right? How would what task would you use to help her with that idea of moving diagonally with her center of mass down the hill? Or getting this part moving that way, right? Or as,
To start the turn
Zampini likes to
instead of
say, this is a downhill sport. We move down the hill.
I've got one.
Go.
Go to falling leaves and then take falling leaves in the uphill arcs.
Cool.
So it becomes like a W turn.
Falling leaves into an uphill arc.
A guided uphill arc.
A guided arc. Okay, a guided uphill turn.
How about 1,000 steps?
Dion, as you are explaining that, so if you're doing your falling leaf, you go uphill and then do you turn downhill? Or is it a kind of an up and then a backslide?
An up and then a backslide.
Got it.
So you get to be really active with the flexion and extension movements and where you're directing the pressure along the length of the ski.
and work on your switch carving at the same time.
You know.
Hey, how about
Switch used to be on there. Skating would be awesome.
Talk to me about skating.
Well, the thing with skating is you have to move along the length of your ski.
Yeah.
And you've got to go from ski to ski to do it. Otherwise, you physically can't do it.
Right. Right. How could we address the big extension at the initiation?
maybe do
Gating.
What's the term for kind of reverse instead of extending at the initiation, maybe flex at initiation, like what you do in
Yeah.
the most.
I mean, you had a task already of doing pivot slips, right? Or falling leaves. What if we did a retraction style?
Oh, that's what I meant, retraction.
A retraction style falling leaf. So the extension happens more in the turn and not at the beginning of every turn. We're changing the timing of the extension piece.
We'd even go back to using crab walks
Crab walks.
and focus on the flexion as the ski comes back underneath you.
Yep. Yep.
I might build on Scott's skating idea,
Mm-hmm.
then start skating across the hill. Then can you do like 2 or 3 skates across the hill? Actually, I think it has to be 3. I think it has to be an odd number. And then make a turn. Then 3 skates across the hill and make a turn. If you extend too much, too fast, too soon, it's not going to happen. You'll move away from your platform. It's going to get some flexion and extension movements going, and it'll be really hard to do it by bending the ski at the heel at the initiation.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I was thinking dead start turns to a outside ski turn to a stop.
Oh, it's really complicated.
Hey,
He's a level 2 candidate,
he's
man.
level 2.
That's not hard. It's not like he said do 3 pivot slips, 3 short turns, 3 pivot slips, 3 short turns.
Well, we really need to challenge her edging on one ski. So let's go ahead and do a flat spin into a J turn.
Poor Sarah.
One-legged whirlybirds. Here we go.
All right, cool. Hey, this worked way better than I thought. I don't know what you think, Dylan. I thought this was awesome. I thought this was really on point. You guys did a really nice job of evaluating and visualizing what was happening and how you could attack them. I gave you some pretty simple versions because this is the first time we tried that. But this is the time for you guys to give me some feedback. Tell me and Dion what we should do better next time.
I think it would be nice at some point to have actually seen the skiers.
You did. It was all in your head.
Yeah, I kind of like this because then I didn't get distracted. It was like right there.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
really helpful.
Exactly. Cool. Any other feedback?
The one thing on that, I'm just thinking about that. It's nice to see the ski performance, but we're given that.
Right.
We didn't have to actually see it and say, hey, those skis are bending from the back. You're telling us. So you're kind of, it takes a little bit away from a movement analysis in that you don't really have to determine what's happened. You're already being told it.
Right.
Right. So
I like the cause and effect, that the ski performance versus body performance, the cause and effect, that helps me a lot.
Yeah, that's what we were really trying to get to.
But the other thing is it was very helpful, but that was the only thing that I was thinking of, is because you don't have to figure it out. It's given to you.
All right, cool. Any other comments?
Yeah, the way it was set up was kind of nice because you got the data. You had to do the creative part, which is, okay, what is it we want to accomplish and how can we accomplish it? We might want to consider adding a point in there for understanding are there questions we might ask this individual to clarify some concepts?
That's a
For
great
example,
idea.
with Sarah, what the hell does pushing the skis forward mean to you?
Well, I use that as that was a slight dig at some of my examiners over the years.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate that. I've heard the same gobbledygook.
Yeah, it's like, hey, well, what I'm noticing is that you should do better.
yeah, I've gotten that feedback. You know that? What you just did? That ain't it. No shit,
Yeah.
Sherlock.
Yeah.
Ski more like me and less like you.
Yeah.
If I could, I would, but I don't know how. That's why I'm here at training.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was good, and I think though I think everybody wants to see that, because what it's starting to show us is some people like that visual component to bring data into their systems. It's good to note that. But as instructors, it's good for us to play this game so we can better appreciate getting data into our clients from the three different vectors, which is visual, kinesthetic, or auditory.
Yeah, cool. How many of you stood up and actually like tried the movements, or you just were so good that you didn't have to do that?
I did it in my head.
Did it in your head?
I did it with my hands.
You know,
Yep, I did hand skiing too.
I swear to God, I'm going to make people start using their hands more, right? Because this is a great communication device, right? See, great communication device. So, but using your hands and showing stuff, really, really effective. All right, cool. And
So
last chance to tell us what you liked or
I
hated.
actually have a question for the group that I want to know from the group. Does anybody feel that they now have a better technical understanding of the ski maneuvers and how they relate to whole skiing?
Yes, and we
I
need
do.
more.
Yeah. And one thing that you did, Dion, that I found really helpful was we talked about looking for an outcome that's ski performance. What outcome do we want to see from the skis?
Yeah,
And
100%.
I found that to be helpful.
Marin, that was actually the question you brought up very early on was how do these tasks relate back to teaching?
What was really helpful for this was the breaking them down more. I'm like, okay, right. So we're not just going to be like, here, you need to work on X, Y, and Z. So we're going to have you do something that's really hard. It's what are the steps we need to take or the things we need to tweak to make them be able to do railroad tracks or be able to do some of these, not just go do it.
Right.
So that was really helpful.
Cool. Good.
Essentially, it's the same way we teach people, beginner skiers, how to make a wedge turn. They don't like, okay, you're gonna go make wedge turns. Here you go. We're like, oh, here, this is how you turn your legs. This is how you slide in that shape. Hey, it's how do you break these things down to make them useful as teaching tools? I actually use the IDP a lot as teaching tools.
100%.
Outside ski J turns a lot. Then if they get better, maybe it's an outside ski turn. 1,000 steps. All these little things, but I break it into smaller parts to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, so we had a couple of these folks here that like maybe they're not going to be successful if we went straight to an outside ski turn, right? Because the movement pattern that's already there is they're bracing, they're back. That's a recipe for disaster. So how can we coach them using that same idea, modify the task where they can become more successful?
Which
Such
might
as,
have to start as far back as standing on the side of the hill and picking up their uphill ski and figuring out how to stand on that downhill foot
right,
and
100%.
not let it slide away.
Because
Oh, wait, we have to tip it a little bit.
they've
Okay,
never
now
really
can you
felt
go
it.
across the hill and feel that edge and just track across the hill? Now can we introduce just a tiny bit of down and across the hill?
Yeah.
And
Moving
then
into
it's
a
a
J
J turn.
turn.
And
Exactly.
then it's an outside ski turn. So
Right.
it's a process to get there.
Yeah. All right. Any last comments? Cool. Thank you very much, folks. I thought this was very, very successful. I'm very, very pleased with the outcome. We'll go ahead and stop recording now.